Hey everybody, Wick&Candle back here with video number 2 for you all. So again, circling back, I know it's been a little while, but last video I introduced myself and I introduced the channel and provided a little bit of direction as to what we'd be doing, and hopefully introducing my goal to bring all of you guys into the world of finance and help you structure your journey to achieve financial independence, to be able to learn, right? The goal here is learning. So we want to talk about financial markets, but specifically the goal of this channel is to introduce you all to stocks, right? Now, again, in order to understand stocks, we also need to understand the core principle of investing. And I'm sure you've all heard this word before, and pardon my messy handwriting, but in order to understand the purpose of a stock and what a stock is, we need to understand what is investing. And essentially, if I were to put it in simple terms, investing is the act of putting a certain amount of money forward, a certain amount of capital, and capital is the more formal word for money, and I'll use it a lot, and I'm going to write it up here in the corner, right? Capital. Putting a certain amount of capital forward and be able to hopefully make more capital on that initial amount of money contributed over time. And the key word here is time, right? All investments are centered on the idea of taking advantage of time and being able to use that to hopefully create a return on that initial amount of money that you'd be sacrificing. A good example of this, at least in my opinion, is let's say we have Bob. Bob's very happy here. He's 10 years old and he wants to open a lemonade stand. And he knows that he's going to need to buy materials, right? He's going to need to get lemons. He's going to need to get a stand. He's going to need to be able to get all these things to hopefully be able to open his lemonade stand. And let's say, hypothetically, that totals to $15. Although with how expensive things are nowadays, that's kind of a mixed bag. But regardless, let's say that this initially, the amount of capital that he initially needs to put forth in to get all of his materials together for the lemonade stand is $15, right? And we're going to call that initial. Let's see if I can, there we go. Right? That's the initial amount of capital. So that's the starting amount of capital on his investment into the lemonade stand. And he's saying that over a year, he wants to be able to make money on that initial $15. So he wants to make more. Now, the thing about that is, right, in any form of investment, this is a really important lesson. Risk is always going to be involved. Because again, he could put this $15 forth and in a year he could make money. So again, good outcome. Or he could lose money. So everything could go to zero. His lemonade stand could make nothing at all, and he would just have lost $15 that he contributed in hopes of making those profits, whatever he looked to make. Either way, right, that is the risk that you're taking on by making any form of an investment. Okay? So, in this case, right, let's say after a year he makes $35. Great. So he made a profit of $20. And that is, again, a good outcome for an investment. Now we can circle back to a stock. And of course, there are many different examples that of course I like to use, especially when considering a stock, and I'll make some room here. I don't want to erase investing though. But we want to understand what is a stock. And the best example I feel, the most effective example is, let's say this is a pizza. Freshly baked, right? You're at a shop, you go to the shop, say, I want to get a slice of pizza, I get this one slice, right? You get 4 slices that are perfectly equal. You buy that one slice for $8, right? The rest of the pizza is still at the shop, it's still the shop's, but that slice of pizza is yours, you paid for it, you can do what you want with it. And in quantifiable terms, you took 25% of that pizza, and you paid $8 for that 25%. By similar principle, a stock is a piece of ownership. Ownership, right? And the key word here is ownership in a company. The more formal Wall Street terms is equity, right? And equity is essentially ownership. And that's going to be a really important. And that's going to be a really important idea to consider there. So let's take Apple, for example, huge tech company. And let's say Apple is the whole pizza, right? As an investor, and investors are usually the people buying stocks, if you're an investor and you buy one share in Apple, that is the exact same thing as the person buying pizza going to the pizza owner and buying one slice of that pizza, right? So that again makes it all interconnected and understanding that just like, you pay $8 for 25% of the pizza, you pay a certain price for one stock or one percentage of ownership of the entire company of Apple. So stocks are essentially a portion of ownership. And when you buy a stock, you are also technically a part owner of that company, and you're buying equity in that company, right? And that's why I really love the pizza example, because again, it's like understanding, okay, by buying a stock, I'm buying a small portion of a larger thing, right? I'm paying a certain amount of money to own that small portion of a larger thing, just like I'm paying, say, $8 to have one slice of a whole pizza. And that is what I want you all to learn for today. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.